guys. So today I've done an upload of the upgrades I did to this bad boy right here, the Tisas Duty Carry Double Stack or the B9R DS. So if you guys don't want to stick to the end of the video, I've kind of done this video to help with well, just kind of give you guys the updates, right, a little bit more ahead. So what I've done is I've replaced the guide rod with a full-length guide rod. It normally comes with a GI style guide rod, and I actually like the looks of the GI style guide rod more than I do the full length, but there's benefits to the full length. It helps with recoil management. I replaced the spring. Okay, so the spring that it normally comes with is a 20-pound recoil spring. I put a 12-pound. The mainspring housing, which is this piece right here, I replaced the spring in here. I placed a 17-pound. It came with a 19-pound, which helps with a faster strike of the hammer, right? So you have what's called a sear spring, right? So the sear spring is inside of this grip, right? The sear spring, best way I can describe that, it has 3 arms, right? The far right operates your grip safety. Middle one operates your disconnect, and then your left one operates the sear, right? So it's important to know that on the left one, which a lot of guys mess up on when you take them apart and put them back on, do not put it underneath the sear. And I tell you this because my punk ass was doing that. I used to mess with 1911s a lot, and for like the last 4 to 5 years, I've not touched them. And then therefore I forgot that, and I ended up having to call a good friend of mine's, Mike. I appreciate you, my brother. And he reminded me of it, and once he told me about it, I got proper function. Why is that important? Well, I'll show you. So let's talk about the way your hammer works, right? So the way your hammer works, okay, that's your disconnect, and then that's your full engagement, right? So if that's not on the sear properly, you won't get that. It will not reset properly. It will just click back and forth, back and forth. So that's why that's important, guys, okay? Those are the upgrades I've done. It's all Wilson Combat parts. The sear spring is what they call the bulletproof. Whether it's really that badass or not, you know, I sometimes think these companies that are big name companies like that, sometimes it's name, right? Sometimes it's not. With that said, the way this gun works now, I cannot complain. I think I'm about 3 pounds, 0.5-ish, 3.5-ish trigger pull now. I would like to see if I did some polishing, what kind of trigger pull I will have. Watch this, guys. Okay, now watch. Look at this reset. That's your reset. Okay. I can't complain. That to me is beautiful. I put the CCW red dot on here. CCW red dot, you're going to end up having to find screws that are thin enough to actually mount onto the slide. I tried a lot of different screws, and I finally found the right one. When I was about to give up and see if I had to order some, just so you guys know. Your TLR7X, you're going to need to use 1913 adapter 4. And then that would work. I would like to see about replacing this trigger. One, I'm having a hard time with that because I really like the looks of this trigger. I think it's a sexy trigger. Downside, I think it could be shorter. Right now, that's the trigger, right? I think we can get a trigger to be that right there. And if the trigger can be there, right there alone, then that would affect your trigger pull even more, right? Atlas is one of the few companies I see that does that kind of trigger that I like and I'm looking at. It's not expensive. It's like 89 bucks. But I think if I'm going to do that, I'm also going to try to polish some of the internals, because you're going to have to take things apart to do that. And I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Well, my 2A, I appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, guys. Please always remember to make sure you're carrying, that you're staying vigilant out there. And please be ready to do the right thing. There's a lot of chaotic stuff going on in this world, and it's always important to know that you can do the right thing by helping somebody out. Y'all take care. All right, guys, so I went ahead and taken apart the Tisas B9R. The slide, I gave it a nice little cleaning in the sense of taking off some of the excess oil and grease. I always do that. I always clean my guns out, and then I add the oil I like, and even grease certain points that I prefer to grease, which, what's it called? The gun was actually very clean. I've actually had some other guns that kind of surprises me because they're more known companies that come from the factory pretty dirty. This right here, not the case. It actually came pretty nice and clean. It wasn't incredibly oiled up or greased up either. Everything on here, from what I can tell, man, it's done really nice. I'm not really finding anything that makes me say, man, they messed that up, or that's scratched up or damaged or anything like that. Typical wear and tear in the bottom from replication, you heard me, from the slide moving back and forth and whatnot. That's typical stuff. But other than that, every other piece that I've seen, it's very well done, very crafted nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some parts in, and I'll keep you guys updated. Guys, so let's go ahead and talk about how to take apart your safety from the frame, okay? So you have obviously your grip and your thumb, right? So the thumb is relatively easy, okay? And what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that you pull the hammer back, and then literally you're gonna wiggle and wiggle and wiggle, and eventually it's gonna come out, right? And then you have, because it's ambidextrous, you have the second one, right? So it's relatively easy. It's not something out of this world to do. Aligning it's a little different because when you go ahead and you put this back together, this is gonna be the one facing you as you're taking the firearm apart, and then this is gonna be the one, if you were a lefty, this would be your lefty, and you have to align those two pieces together, right? I can tell you the parts are really nice on here. Really, it's really nice. I really like it. Now let's talk about the grip, okay? Grip safety is relatively easy as well. All you're gonna do is you're gonna knock out your mainspring housing pin out, okay? Which is this bad boy right here. A punch will do it. I ended up using the 3x32, and you go ahead and knock it out. And then you can take out your sear, which so I got the Wilson Combat sear, and that's a little different because this is the bulletproof version. And the reason why I got that one, it helps because it's stronger than typical sear in the sense that it allows you to manipulate it a little bit better. And so I did that on purpose because what you're gonna end up having to do is you're gonna end up having to look at the Wilson Combat and then look at your sear from your Tisas and try to mimic it, make it look as much to each other as possible. So what I would do is I would align them up like so, and then try to bend the Wilson Combat to that point, okay? Which would then allow proper function, okay? See what I mean? And then it'll allow proper function. And as you guys can see what I'm talking about, it comes pretty clear to where I'm at and how to do it. It's actually a really nice part from Wilson Combat. It looks like it came lubricated already. And so then that would be your sear. From there, you want to do your mainspring or your hammer spring, right? And so you have a little punch that you're going to punch out, but make sure you keep force down here, okay? So you want to make sure that you have something keeping force down here as you punch that out, because it also is going to shoot out, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. So you see what I'm talking about, guys? See what I mean? Okay. And then so when I pull this out, okay, there's gonna be, and let me show you a little better view of that. See that? Okay. So even if I pull this out now, because my pin is there, actually pushed it out already. My pin is there. Once I pull that out, it's gonna cause this to shoot out, right? So make sure you keep your thumb there and you rotate it easily. Okay. Okay, there it is. All right. So Simple thing, but want to make sure you guys do that so you don't poke your eye out. I'll be back. Okay guys, so I've already put in the new spring, okay, for the hammer and also the sear. Okay, now there is something you got to keep in mind here. Okay, I will probably end up replacing this mainspring. I need to find out what's mainspring housing, what is compatible with it, because it is plastic. I like a metal one, so that's my one thing I will replace. Other than that, relatively easy. I'm gonna end up putting this together, but the thing you gotta keep in mind is, so this is your hammer, right? And hold on, this right here is the important part, right? You gotta make sure this little arm, okay, is aligning properly with your mainspring hole, so they make a proper connection, and then therefore the hammer operates properly. So give me 1 second, guys.